Hello, my ambitious besties. What are we talking about today? I think it's a wealth of information. I have with me a new bestie. So, Letrice and I met officially, like we met earlier this year, but I think that we fell in love and built a beautiful friendship, as we say. We are realtists and we met, I think it was, and we started hanging back in Houston.
Yeah, I think
Was it Houston? Yeah. So that was August.
yeah.
August of this year. And all I can say, guys, is this. You know that you have a connection when you both like to seat dance. You both can make a joke about when people serve you food that nobody else is going to get. So you look at each other. And, outside of that, what I appreciate, and I always go back to our coaching conversations, build a tribe, have a circle of women that are around you that can bring you to your highest and best potential, but also create space, like a safe space for you. And so when I met Letrice, as we both have been in a journey of life, and we'll talk about her journey here. There's been changes in her life. She's launched an amazing new brokerage in California, but I was in a place of really learning what I did and didn't want for myself. But I was in a space of, I needed softness and care. And not that my other friends did not give me softness and care, because when I tell you they listened to me in nauseum, they did. But I think God always presents you again with what you need and the people that you need to help you just have self-actualization, and then also just, again, have that safe space. So Letrice allowed me to have that safe space, and she was very soft with me. And I think I always come into my relationships in a soft space, and to be able to have that requited space was a beautiful thing. So not only, as I say, is she outside, she is beautiful on the inside as well, and she's a boss. She is a boss, guys. I'm in real estate, being third generation, and I love seeing other women who are coming into their own in real estate and learning like where they want to be and what they want to do. And I've seen many of people start brokerages, and I've seen many of brokerages close. And what I know is the difference, as we always talk about, is not only intentionality, but it's strategy. And so this lady here has a phenomenal strategy, and that's how I know she's going to be around for a very, very, very long time. And she's building a brand not only for herself, but for her family to come. So in our Virgo Ambition way, let's welcome Miss Letrice Barge. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. You know, I love you.
Yes, and I love you. And now you have a whole audience, a whole tribe of ambitious besties who are going to be behind you too. So we're here to welcome you, but can you tell us who Letrice Barge is?
Oh, who Letrice Barge is? Letrice is, you know what? I would say a mother first, right? So I'm a mom. I'm a 6. Yes, 6. Everyone, when I say that, they're always like, what? 6? Yes. Amazing humans that I absolutely love in big pieces. I was a serial entrepreneur. I would say that I am definitely a broker bay now, real estate broker, CEO, owner of the Langley Stone Group, a independent real estate brokerage located in the city of Pasadena, California. And so I would say that's who I am today. That's who I am.
But we know that life's a journey. So when I ask you this question again in a year from now, I can't wait to hear the answer, because I'm sure it's going to be different because we're in different places. But I love the fact that you say, when you say, oh, I have 6 kids, people kind of are like, what? And I'm like, after like 3, do the other 3 even count? Because I feel like At that point, they're just there and it's down to a science. And don't they kind of just raise themselves anyway?
I feel like after 3, you're probably right. I would say 2, the transition from 1 to 2 is really challenging. Then when you go from 2 to 3, it's like, whoa. I do feel like after 3, you pretty much can accomplish anything. So whether you have 3 or 13, it's really about logistics, because they're there. They're, it's like you have friends with each other. So why are you bothering me?
Exactly. So it's almost like you had kids for the kids.
That part.
Right.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about, again, you being this boss, because you're so ambitious and I love it. You just had a ribbon cutting for Langley Stone. And if you guys are not following Letrice, make sure you do, because she'll have some content up there about the ribbon cutting. But I don't know, I get emotional, especially about my friends who are doing wonderful things, because being in real estate and understanding the work it takes to even get something stood up. And another FYI for you guys, my background, I'm program manager. Letrice also has that background. And so I'm not surprised when I saw how phenomenally she did at executing this ribbon cutting and how beautiful it was too. But I've talked to you as you've been standing up your brokerage, and you've been talking about the back office and how you think about actually scaling it across the country, and how you think about bringing people into your brokerage and being able to lead them in a way of quality.
Yeah.
Outside of the how we got here now, like, what was that trigger point in your life that you said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. This is my next step.
Oh, so goodness gracious, that's a good question. You know what? I would say I could go. I'll go back to 2018. Okay. I feel like that's when my life really changed. Okay. I was having a lot of challenges in life. A lot of challenges. I would venture to say probably the most challenging time in my life ever. Experienced a lot of transition, and I really had to sit with myself and say, okay, who do I want to be? I went through a lot of therapy, a lot of just really come to Jesus moments, if you will, about how did I get where I was and where did I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Mm-hmm. And what was I going to do to make that happen? First, it was just identifying that I wasn't happy with where I was and who I was at that time. And I really had to just be truthful with myself, because I was a lifelong, I would say, person that wanted to make sure everyone else was good, and even to my own detriment. And so I actually had a dream, and the dream showed me that in the dream, it was revealed to me that I would be really successful in real estate. I woke up in the middle of the night. I shook my husband. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be millionaires. It's going to be amazing. He was looking at me like, what's wrong with you? It was like 2:00 in the morning, no lie. And so that happened around October. I gave my letter of resignation. I was working in corporate America as in project management. And I gave my letter of resignation. I was paid out through the end of the year, started classes in January. So really it was seeing the dream, realizing that it was real for me, and then taking the next step, like taking that leap of faith in like, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to go all in on it, because it was something I always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And deciding to put me first. I think that was the other thing. I had to make a decision to put me first. I think we are trained as women, especially if you growing up in church, that we shouldn't be selfish. We put others before ourselves. We make sure everyone else is taken care of. And we, it's don't be selfish. Like, you're taught that as a child, like, don't be selfish. It's not about you, it's about everyone else. And I just don't necessarily agree with that anymore. I grew up my whole entire life believing that. But as I have entered into now I'm 42, I would say that I think it's really important to be a little selfish. And so that's how I got here today, by being a little selfish.
So when we talk about being selfish, that's something that I've had to learn, and I'm still learning. I'm not there. It's very hard for me, especially when people say, like, you have to choose yourself. And I believe in therapy too. I think everybody should be in therapy. I wish more people were in therapy, because the rest of us might not have to be in therapy. But I digress. That's a whole nother conversation.
Sorry.
Another story. But I remember one time my therapist was like, Amber, you have to start choosing yourself. And I had to sit with that and be honest, because I said, I don't know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that looks like. And the fact that you say you made a selfish action to be able to do this for yourself, I love that, because number one, on the screen, right? See the dream and understand that God wouldn't give you this vision if it wasn't supposed to be. And you already have everything that you need to make it happen. The door is always going to be open. Your excellence is there. You just have to show up, right? And I think that's what you've done in opening your Langley Sloan. And when I sit back and I watch the fact that you have done things to me in a very fearless nature, you can have trepidation and you can think, oh, is this going to go right? And you want things to be excellent. Like, I know we talked about little stupid things like the website, and is the color right? Guys, this girl will call. What do you think about this color of the website? I'm like, I mean, it's beautiful, but then she sends me another color. I'm like, but if the other one was pretty, but yeah, this one's prettier. And I love this, because if we're talking about the fact of what the website color is, but she understands what her strategy is without a doubt. She's never asked me, do you think I should go into this market, or what should be the next step, or anything. Like, I'm like, yes, she has it. She has the secret sauce, and she's going to be successful. And it's really true. So, number one, see the dream. Number two, realize it's real. And number three, take action. You've modeled all of that. And you've actually been the epitome of it, and say, like, this actually really works. And I'm excited for you when it comes to that. And I'm excited that you stood back and said, I'm going to be selfish for me, because a lot of times within that selfishness, it gets us into the next part of our journey.
Absolutely. I agree. Now that I do agree with. I think you said something about I'm moving fearlessly. And I think that it's really because I have so much faith in the vision that God gave me for what I'm supposed to execute, that I'm like, well, God showed me, so he's not a liar. It's gonna work. I just got to keep moving forward, and it's just having the faith of a mustard seed. Don't get me wrong. I have my moments of, oh goodness, is this gonna work? Am I making the right move? Am I taking the right steps? But I believe that along the way, God is leaving me breadcrumbs of faith. It's like, okay, from one moment to the next, he reminds me with a conversation perhaps, or maybe an opportunity that presents itself. And it's just a little gentle nudge to say, you're on the right track. I know that you're a little afraid. I know that it's a little scary, because it's unknown. It's an unknown thing. All that I'm doing, I've never done before. But I am really excited, because I see the next steps, and I see myself in the future, and it's even bigger than where it is today. And so that motivates me.
Having faith of a mustard seed. And I love that. My father is a deacon, and I feel very lucky because of that. Because sometimes when I'm like, oh, I don't know if I doing the right thing, I'll call him, especially if I'm going through something. I'm like, give me a Bible verse. Like, I need a Bible verse to understand how to get through this. And I think the fact that you're very grounded in understanding your purpose and understanding you're moving in the right direction. And what I always know for myself, going back to exactly what you're talking about, when it becomes super hard for me, if it's just not easy, that's my sign from him that I'm just in the wrong place, because every success that I've had in my life has been easy. It's just happened. And then when I go against the grain or I go against the cuff, it's hell. It's hell trying to get it to happen. And that's when I know I'm in the wrong place. So again, I go back to watching it, and I'm, on the outside, you have that insider view, but on the outside, you make it look very easy. You make it look very easy. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think it's a place where I want our ambitious besties to see that, it doesn't mean that Letrice isn't doing the work. It doesn't mean that the work didn't keep her up at night. It doesn't mean that she didn't, have crying spells or screaming spells or anything like that. But what it means is that in spite of all those things, because she's moving in purpose, she has exemplified what it looks like. And so those that are looking from the outside can say, okay, I see this lady over here and she's looking good doing that, and I want to do that too. And so you, without knowing, open up the door of thoughts or opportunities for others that maybe would have never even moved in that direction. I think that's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I mean, that's the goal. I think realizing, so I'm a really big fan of just watching other successful people, obviously, that have gone before me, or just listening to interviews, reading books. And Oprah said that in one of her many, many inspirational podcasts or something that she was doing, that one of the most important days of your lives is when you realize why you were born. Right? It's being born, and then when you realize why you were born. So like finding out what's your purpose to do. And if you listen to a lot of just successful individuals in life, they all pretty much say the same thing. Once you figure out your thing, because I believe we're all here to serve, right? I think that once we come to the realization that we're here to serve, identifying what we're like, how we are to serve, that's when we're walking in our purpose. Like when we choose to, and I believe that I've done so many different things. I've owned multiple businesses. I had an event planning company. I had a t-shirt press company. I had a residential cleaning company. I still own a premium mobile photo booth company. I've had multiple businesses over the years, and most of them weren't as successful. I will say, some people talk about failing forward, right? Yeah. And what I always knew was that I have always been drawn to help and to serve in some capacity. And something about real estate, it just lights me up. It brings me the most complete joy that I've ever experienced in my life, all the while being able to monetize it and to be able to support my family and sustain us financially. That's like a cookie, like the cherry on top, if you will. Yeah. But the true joy for me is being able to educate a family that didn't think that homeownership was possible, and being able to say to them, it's a possibility. And then being able to walk them through the steps, and then being able to hand them the keys to their house. Yeah. And then for them to call me a year later and say, you showed me what was possible. I'm ready to be an investor now. Where, it's mind, like literally it's mind blowing. And I'm like, I get to do this for a living. Yeah. Okay, God, I see what you're talking about. Let's go.
And I think it's beautiful what you're saying too, is because you're unlocking the possibilities for people that they didn't even know about. And a lot of times, especially, just going back to home ownership, and this, yes, interest rates can be high. Yes, it's hard for people to come up with down payments. But there's actually a root cause sometimes with people not buying a house. And it has nothing to do with the monetary aspect. It has something to do with the value that they see within themselves.
1,000%.
And, as a real estate professional, especially one, like you're saying, that's a servant leader and cares about their community thriving, there is a piece in that of understanding that I have to help this person see that they are of value. And because they are of value, they should have something valuable in their life. And what's more valuable than land?